All right, welcome to another episode of Beyond the Clover Podcast. I'm the host, Steven Steiner. I'm the YPA in Clinton, Caldwell, and DeKalb counties. If you're wondering why there's no episode runners to go with this, that's because I forgot what episode I'm on. And there's some hidden ones that we're still working on cleaning up and the editing side of things. But a couple episodes back, we crossed state lines and we went to Kansas. But this time we're hopping on a virtual airplane and we're going to Georgia and we're going to talk with my friend and 4-H alumni in Georgia, Hunter Grayson. Good afternoon, Hunter. How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. You know, just trying to figure out this COVID-19 thing and keep people engaged. How's that going for you?
Oh, we're just trying to be like the puppy dog, learn how to sit and stay.
Isn't that the truth? There's some good memes going around about that. You know, it's like you wouldn't make a very good dog. You haven't figured those rules out.
Right.
So since we're talking 4-H, and we'll get to what you're doing now since 4-H. When did you start 4-H? What age?
Oh man, I started with the Cloverleaf program in probably first or second grade, I want to say, and then through the local Oconee County 4-H, and then moved to Stevens County and was in 4-H up there as well. And so yeah, I'd say somewhere in that age, Frank, second or third grade, and then stayed with it all the way through high school.
Yeah, you stayed with it. That's what I thought. I know we've talked about this years ago. I believe it was at Junior Nationals in Indianapolis because you did a dance thing for our talent show. I don't know if you remember that. And you talked about your 4-H time and doing that. You remember that?
I don't recall that, but you've reminded me on several occasions of things that I've done that I haven't quite remembered.
So, what's 4-H like in Georgia? Is it big clubs? Because we have 3 counties and we have about 300 kids roughly in the 3 counties. What's the county size for you and club size?
Man, I've been out of high school 10 years this year. I don't know that our clubs are that big where I'm at, but each county's got their own club here. I don't think we do. Not too many of them do multi-counties, and don't quote me on that, but I could be totally wrong. But I want to say we had probably 40 or so in our county that were active doing things. We may have had more throughout the county, but there were a group that you can narrow it down to about 20 that were like really active doing everything they could.
Yeah, like my largest county, Clinton County, has 5 active clubs, and 3 of them have like 30 members plus. So,
Gotcha.
And how the staff is I'm in a unique situation where 3 counties come together and pay me to support them. So I spend a third of my time in each one of them counties representing them. So, yeah, that's just clarify that, it's not 3 counties together. It's all separate, and they all have their county councils and stuff like that. So were you involved heavily in 4-H, or did you go to state programs and stuff like that?
I was involved when I was in middle school pretty heavily with 4-H, and then when I moved, the 4-H program wasn't as active, and so that's why I kind of ventured into FFA at that point in time. And then when I moved back to Oconee, I was in both programs, and where one lacked, the other one picked up, and vice versa. And so I was dual enrolled and swinging for the fences on both sides when we got back in it. I did a lot of livestock judging through our county 4-H, and we went to the national North American. I guess that was in 2010, I think, somewhere around in there. Yeah, I think that's right. So
that's pretty cool. So let's talk projects, and we'll get back to the livestock judging here in a second. What were your projects going through start to finish? Like, what were your favorites?
Well, raising cattle was definitely my favorite. I had a horse project and that kind of turned into a expensive addiction that you can't really get rid of. Still got a slew of those things out there eating grass. Did that and then did a lot of the DPA projects. I did a thing on fly fishing, and that one was really cool for me. That actually got me a scholarship to do a 2-week camp through Trout Unlimited, and they flew me out and did this whole big fly fishing course and stuff, because my thing was on like the ecology and conservation and the aspects of that. So that was pretty cool. That was a long time ago. But those were my main things that I did through 4-H.
Oh, that's interesting. So what's one project that people that knew you growing up in 4-H, or people who know you in general, doesn't have to be 4-H related, that you did that they might not guess, like cake decorating? Some people have said showing rabbits, or photography was one for me. What was that one that you may have only participated in a year or two, but someone wouldn't guess that about you?
I guess my first project I did with them was it was a year-long project, and it was on gun safety. And I think that's probably the one that nobody would really, not that I'm not as safe when it comes to firearms, but I did a year-long project and study when I was it might have been 6th grade, something like that. Did a year-long study on that, and went in through and got the hunter safety course education implemented in our schools, and that was a pretty big thing that I was kind of proud to have my hand in.
Yeah, that's cool when you can bring 4-H and those elements even outside of 4-H into the school and share with everyone else. That's pretty cool accomplishment. So you've had success with cattle, and you've had success with livestock judging. Did you do any public speaking or demonstrations or anything like that?
I did through various different organizations. I mean, some were through 4-H with I can't remember what all the things are called, but I've done anything from extemporaneous speaking, prepared public speaking. I did creed speaking through FFA, but that's a different deal. But public speaking's always been a big aspect of what I was doing, because it doesn't make a difference what you're doing in life, whether you're selling cows, rabbits, tires, whatever. You're going to have some kind of way to present yourself to the public in an educated way to get your point across in order to sell them that. And that's the one thing I tip my hat to the 4-H and those kind of programs for. I mean, I wouldn't be who I am and where I am today if it wasn't for programs like the 4-H. It's one of the most undervalued things in America, in the world now. There's 4-H everywhere.
Absolutely. It's the largest youth development organization in the world. The thing that I found interesting was saying to communicate, in a way that represents you well, in an educated way. That's one thing that it took me a little bit longer than most people. I was well out of college before I figured out how to communicate probably effectively in an educated way. I pretty blunt, to the point, and I'm okay with offending people. Let's just put it that way. You've been around me, you know how it goes.
We're an overly sensitive population.
Yeah, and I have a way of offending people. So doing this job has really helped me with that. So 4-H is even helping me later on in life, even though I'm not currently when I went through it, currently it's helping me, but when I went through it, I stuck to shooting sports. I tried campground cooking and photography, which, we went out and got a nice camera and doing all this stuff. And, half the time my fingers over the lens, and you adjust that and, run out of film. Kids today don't even know what film. Well, I say they don't know what film is, but they're bringing back the, what's the ones that print out the picture?
Polaroid.
Yeah, they're bringing those things back. Kids know what film is now.
That's right. Everything's coming back. Records are outselling CDs now too.
I'll tell you what, though, the sound that the record will make, that's a pure sound compared to what a CD is.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's it's an interesting, time with what's going on. But bringing Polaroids back, when I saw that, and they're like what, 75, $100 or something like that.
Oh, I don't know if they're that much now. I think you can get in. I think you can get the old Polaroids now for like $20 or $30 from some stores. Now the little cartridges aren't real cheap. The I guess the actual print thing is not real cheap, but I remember they used to come in them old look like old cassette player, almost like an 8-track, and you'd have to slide it in the front. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
You shake it.
Exactly. I remember we used to go to Walmart and pick up a camera for $1.50, and replace the film and stuff like that, and take it off to 1 hour photo became a deal, and that was all cool. And it's strange times. These kids are gonna be so confused when they listen to that. We're showing our age.
Yep, they're like, disposable camera. What are you talking about?
So what's it take? What did it take for you to get to the national contest for livestock judging? What was that process like, start to beginning? I mean, I know you're going through classes and stuff like that. Did you have to find a leader? Did they help you with one? How'd that work out?
Okay, so I started judging livestock through FFA, and the guys that I was judging with, good friends of mine, we're still good friends. They weren't wanting to be as serious with it as I was wanting to take, because I was like, there's potential scholarship opportunities through this. This is something I want to do. It's how I'm making a living now. Even when in high school, I was making money through the cattle industry, and so I wanted to push it to the next level. And I knew some guys that were in 4-H and a couple ladies that were in 4-H, and they were serious about everything that they did. And they also showed livestock, and we just kind of built a good team. Two of them showed lambs, two of us showed cattle, and one of them showed hogs. And we all just kind of got together and had an alternate and put a good team together. And we just went down and, I mean, lived, breathed, ate, and slept livestock judging for months and months and months, and got in on the area or state level and won that. And I think we were all in the top 10. And then we worked even harder. And then this is when a lot of us were getting ready to start filling out college applications. We, I guess it was 2009 then, because it was right before college, all that stuff was done. Yeah. And, or when is NAIL?
It usually follows the Royal in, November?
Yeah. So, okay. It would have been 2009. And worked our rear ends off going and looking through between video classes, bull sales, sorting cattle, anything. We would go and do it, and loaded up in a little old van and hauled up to Louisville and judged goats, sheep, hogs, pigs, all that stuff all the way up there, and went up there and had a blast. And I liked it because I had the performance beef cattle stuff, and I think I took second high individual in that. So that was pretty cool, because we were raising Herefords together, and to do that in a performance class, I was pretty excited for myself. But yeah, it was just a lot of time and dedication and passion for it. I mean, if you enjoy something and that's what you want to do, you need to put your nose to the grindstone and hammer on, and something will happen with it.
Absolutely. And that's what we try and encourage kids is help find the spark, and then let's grow that and watch them take off when they get older and figure things out more. And even the younger kids, they'll figure it out and find that passion early on. But it seems like older kids, there's a little more opportunities based on age for them to go out and compete. What was your state livestock judging contest like? Was there a lot of teams, or was there a few teams? Because ours is really small. But what was it like when you went through that?
Oh, it was huge. I want to say, I think it was 150 some odd counties in Georgia, and I want to say there were pretty much there was a group from just about every county there, or from most of the counties. Some of them don't have livestock judging teams, but I would say there were a couple hundred teams, or several hundred people.
Right.
We'll say 80 to 100 teams.
Oh wow, that's like 3 times our state. I think we might get 20 sometimes on a good year, and that's both divisions combined at times. It seems like. What are your county fairs like in Georgia? Because ours is, we'll have, on a good year, we'll have 60, 65 head of beef roll through. Our best year for hogs in our area is 200. Now we've got a couple larger counties down south that will feel, more like a jackpot show.
We don't really have county fairs per se, but we'll have like county shows every now and then.
Looks like Hunter froze up on me. Can you hear me?
There we are. I see you now.
Yeah, everything shut down. My whole system shut down. That was fun.
My bad. So where did we get to on that one?
You were talking about you didn't really have county fairs per se.
Yeah, we so like a lot of the counties where we're at in my area, I mean there's some agricultural in it, but a lot of it's so diversified. There's not enough people that are showing cattle or livestock in general to host a county fair. We have county shows that like everybody will bounce around to. And they'll be probably in the same ballpark of what you're talking. I mean, I want to say like maybe the closest one around is probably the Madison County Fair. And I want to say that when I was showing, there was probably, 80 to 100 head, maybe something like that. But that's just cattle. They'd have sheep one day, hogs one day, chickens, rabbits, goats, all that other stuff in different places.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to ours. We show up, and like we're talking friends in Wisconsin and Kansas and stuff like that, and it's like a week-long deal. You bring your camper and you camp out with your projects, and you bring a species, and sometimes it's multiple ones, and you're there for the week. And for us, it's you show in pretty much. We can knock them out in a day or two, and get everything. Depending on how early we want to start the show, and well, that's cool. Printer just kicked on, so if you hear weird noises, that's what's going on. I thought that thing was broken. Well, that's handy. But yeah, it's a relatively small deal, and so when you talk to people out of state, it's kind of a shock to their system. Shane Bedwell, him and I had a conversation about that, and we were talking about livestock judging. He was like, "You guys go to the county fair?" And I was like, "And judge?" And I was like, "No, not really." He's like, "You guys don't have teams and competitions at county fairs?" And I said, "No." I said, "We're not big enough for that." And I said, there's always going to be a couple. I think we got like 3 really strong, large counties that that's more of an option at. But for the most part, don't get me wrong, there's some good cattle that go to the county fair here. I don't want anybody to be mad at me, throwing rocks at me the next time they see me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, number wise and participants for both livestock judging to go through. So. Yeah, that's interesting that you had that many show up to go to livestock judging, and then now were you so you didn't compete at like the younger levels at livestock judging?
I started not through 4-H. No, I think I did. I want to say I did horse judging through 4-H, but I was real young, and yeah, I think that's what I kind of that was more my gap years in between. I missed a lot of foundation things that I could have been doing, but woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of deal.
Yeah, that's understandable, and that's one thing when I took this job was trying to reach the kids that didn't take those opportunities that I did. Oh, looks like we froze up again. My internet connection is unstable. Well, I'm always unstable, so that seems accurate.
Well, I got you now. There we go.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what's going on. having connectivities issues earlier, but it's been pretty good every time I've done these. So,
Camera doesn't even want me.
hey, mine, it's okay if mine freezes up. I'm doing the same baseless stare I always do. So you go through, did you go to college? I can't remember, and do
Yes,
livestock judging?
I did. I went to northeastern Oklahoma with livestock judging. So I know when you're talking about the people that went to the county fairs and doing that, that was a really cool experience for me to see, and seeing like high school, middle school kids going to these county fairs around northeastern Oklahoma and judging there. I just thought it was a super cool aspect, and it's I wish we could have got that going here in Georgia. It would have been a great experience for kids to go through for something that wouldn't have taken that much time to put together, really.
Yeah, it's a different deal, and the competitiveness that goes along with it, especially in Oklahoma and Texas and those regions. Kansas is pretty good; they crank out quite a bit for kids. Now, was NEO, was that your last stop?
No, I came back to Georgia and went through the animal science program. Well, actually, before the animal science program there, I was in animal science at northeastern Oklahoma, came back and went into healthcare science and the nursing program at a college down the road. Realized that wasn't going to be a job for me. And went back into animal science and rounded things out around here.
That's interesting. I think I remembered that, but it'd been so long since we've talked about the college. How far did you make it before you realized it wasn't going to be for you?
About the third class in, I realized that I was like, I think I joined this for all the wrong reasons. That's where all the good-looking women were. And then I realized I don't like being inside, and other people's blood freaks me out, and so.
Yeah, that's understandable. It seems like an important trait that you need to be able to handle if you're going to be on that side of things.
Yeah. I ended up driving a long-distance ambulance, funny enough, and talking about other people's blood scaring me, but that did that for a good while. That was a lot of fun. Got to see the country, and but yeah, so.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about you. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I've been to all but 3 states.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Mostly through showing cows and then the ambulance.
Yeah, most of mine comes from showing cows, and you'll know what I mean by saying this because I 4-H, but going with Justin Bacon to places. So.
Oh Lord.
But that's for another time and another podcast that's not related to 4-H. But yeah, it's interesting time. So you've had some pretty cool opportunities between cattle and 4-H and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So what did 4-H, you talked about the public speaking opportunities, but what other stuff did 4-H afford to you that has helped you along the way?
Well, I think it just all kind of like accumulates into one thing. I mean, it's the engine itself doesn't run. Like you got to have all these other parts and components to make an engine run. And I think 4-H just gave me a lot of the parts that I needed to find out who I was and who I wanted to be, and kind of steer me in the direction that I needed to go. And it just kind of got the ball rolling in that, I guess, in that sense. And it just got me out of like always getting out of my comfort zone, always doing new things that aren't the norm of what I would normally do day to day. And so with that, it's,
Oh, it looks like we froze up again. I don't know what's going on. Our connectivity's not having very good luck today for some reason. It kind of been a little wonky this morning. I thought it would be even out so I could have this podcast, but yeah, Georgia 4-H sounds pretty interesting. That's for sure. it seems a little more similarities than some of the others that we've talked about. Let's see if we can get Hunter back on. Oh, he bailed. Let's see if he can get back in. Yeah, that's something that we got to deal with in 4-H when we're trying to 4-H and life in general. Is sometimes you'll have connectivity issues and you've got to roll with the punches and figure it out. So you just have me talking here for segments of this deal. May have to stop and see if I can get him back in. Well, we've got our technical difficulties somewhat sorted out. He's switched over to his phone instead of his computer. So Hunter, why don't you talk about, so you talked about long distance ambulance driver, went through college, 4-H. Where are you at now and what are you doing right now currently?
Well, right now I still have a cattle ranch running commercial operation. We put Hereford bulls on crossbred black cattle, and I've got a rodeo company as well. And the main thing I'm doing right now is now a full-time musician on top of everything else. If you'd have told me back when we were showing that I'd have had anything to do with music, I'd have looked at you and laughed. But no, I was got out of a bad relationship, and like the next week I went and bought a guitar and just started playing, and 4 years later here we are. I was Georgia's Male Country Artist of the Year and Entertainer of the Year in 2018. I think that's right. Yeah, 2018. And so it's just been a lot of fun. Met a lot of interesting people, and it's I owe a lot of it to the 4-H program and stuff like that. Being able to get out in front of big crowds and do public speaking and interact with people, and it's goes back to the engine thing. Every little part puts together, and you may not know what the end destination is, and heck, I don't know what my end destination is at the end of my route. But it's everything's a lot of fun. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it's hard to fuss with that, especially when you can pay your bills.
Absolutely. I'm gonna save this, and because I'm not gonna forget, but I'll bring this podcast back up in 10, 15 years when you're on the big stage and be like, hey, I was one of the long form interviews we had and knocked out time with him, and we'll go back and sit and watch this and laugh about this.
Sounds good to me, man.
But I don't have any more questions because I know you got more stuff that you need to get done today. I appreciate you talking about what you've done and went through in 4-H, a little bit about 4-H in Georgia and stuff like that. And good luck on the music and cattle industry. So,
well, thank you for having me.
And rodeo. I forgot rodeo. You got a lot of irons in the fire.
So, yeah, I don't rodeo that much anymore. That's just a stress reliever now. I don't compete.
So we're not going to see you on top of bulls or anything like that?
Never.
Okay. So you could be the Dale Brigsby.
That's all right. I'll hold off. I don't know that the world needs two of those guys.
That's facts. That's facts. Thank you very much, Hunter, for joining me.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too.